Before I dive deeper into this video, I want to show you guys two clips, and I want you to take note on which clip looks better. Today, we're talking about motion blur, and motion blur is something that we've probably already heard of, especially if you shoot video or even if you shoot photos. Going back to those two clips I showed you earlier, clip A had motion blur while clip B didn't. But motion blur doesn't just apply to hyperlapses too. Motion blur can be used to cover up the seams in a transition, and it also can be used on speed ramps where you have fast motion. Basically, motion blur is best used when you use it on clips that have fast camera motion. Now for applying motion blur to your clips, this can vary from software to software, but the software I use is Final Cut, and in Final Cut, it's as easy as dragging a title over your clip. One problem with this method is that in certain scenarios, the motion blur can look kind of choppy and sharp. Thankfully, there is an effect that you can use to work around this. The effect I'm talking about here is called RSMB, or Real Smart Motion Blur from Revision. This effect works by tracking every single pixel in your shot, and from that information creates this fake motion blur that actually looks really good. A helpful tip to keep in mind is to save motion blur to the last. And what I mean by that, you must have your color grading, your transitions, your everything basically done before you add your motion blur. This is so you don't really have to wait for your clip to render as you are adding your effects. Motion blur is a render intensive effect, and depending on how you use it, it can take a little while before you can actually start doing other things. That probably wraps up our video for today. If you guys did enjoy, please feel free to leave a thumbs up and comment down below on what things you would want to see in the future. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.